YouTube, what's going on, everybody? Your boy Theflightmike back again with yet another video, and in what's become one of our favorite topics of this offseason, we are talking about Carmelo Anthony once again because there's some pretty huge news in regards to Carmelo Anthony and him actually being wanted and him actually courting and vetting a new team. Now, very quickly, guys, we all know NBA 2K20, one of my favorite video games of all time, comes out on Friday. I have a lot of copies to be given away. I'm going to be giving away multiple copies on my Instagram account and on my Twitter page. I'm going to leave a link to that stuff in the description down below and of course in the comment section. We're also going to be doing a huge live stream on Twitch. My Twitch account's twitch.tv/Flightmike. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the news today, man. So we all know that Carmelo Anthony has been recently courting two teams primarily ever since his failed stint with the Houston Rockets. We all know that he has deep ties in New York. He grew up in New York. He went to college in Syracuse, and he had a very successful collegiate career. And of course, we all know he got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, eventually gets traded to the New York Knicks, which resulted in the Knicks gutting out their roster so they could trade for Melo when he could have just signed with them as a free agent back in 2011. He has a fairly unsuccessful stint with the Knicks, who eventually give up on Carmelo Anthony and trade him to the OKC Thunder for the 2017 season. After 1 year of not really doing much there, he gets traded to the Atlanta Hawks, where he has a very successful career and gets bought out, and eventually he goes and signs with the Houston Rockets before getting cut after a handful of games. And I can't believe it, I actually summarized Carmelo Anthony's career in about a minute and a half. I think that's pretty damn talented. So what I'm going to tell you guys here is the team that we all agree, I think all of us agree that the team that Carmelo fits on the best and the team that wants him the most is none other than the Brooklyn Nets. Now, of course, we've heard things like he may go and join LeBron James on the Lakers. Why would the Lakers have Jared Dudley over Carmelo Anthony? Carmelo Anthony is a significantly better player. And really quickly, to answer those types of questions, the reason why Carmelo Anthony has remained unsigned to this point is because, for one, as much as a huge fan I am of his game, his game just doesn't translate in today's NBA. He's 35 years old. He is a defensive liability. On top, I made a great video covering all this, but to summarize, he's a defensive liability. On top of that, his offense is an isolation-based offense, so he really takes the offense out of rhythm when he is going. And he makes his living off of taking contested twos, which is by far the worst type of jumper, the lowest percentage jumper in the analytics-driven NBA. So, for the most part, he usually operates at a huge negative in today's NBA. So that's why he's remained unsigned. And the thing is, if you were to sign him and you were to even teach him how to play efficient basketball, he is still only 35 years old. So there's not much upside for tapping into that potential. Now, there are pros to Carmelo as well. When he gets hot, he's an incredible scorer. If your bench is lacking scoring, then he is your guy. If you understand that he is not good on defense, then again, he's your guy for your bench unit. He is probably a great locker room presence because everyone respects him. Today, many players in the NBA grew up watching Carmelo Anthony. Remember, he was part of that 2003 Story draft class. So there are some pros to signing him. I feel like he is a great locker room guy, especially if he is as humbled as he came off in that First Take interview with Stephen A. Smith. Now, guys, as I'm recording this, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna have to blur out this footage or not, but we did get some footage recently about Carmelo Anthony saying that he wants to go to the Brooklyn Nets. So I'm gonna let that play, and I'm gonna try to upload this completely clear. If it doesn't work, then I'm probably gonna have to blur it out and then show you guys my Instagram and like post the full video on my Instagram. But of course, I'll keep the audio going. Fingers crossed for this, guys.
Hello, man. I just want to ask you, what message do you have for fans that want to see you back in the league, bro?
So listen, man, I appreciate all of my fans, everybody. There's nothing but love. I'm good. Me and my family good. Like that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 10 toes down. Like I feel better than I ever felt. That's all right.
Hey, man, I know that KD and Kyrie, they're trying to recruit you to Brooklyn, man. Like, first of all, what do you think about about that? How deadly would that be?
That's family, you know what I'm saying? That's family, so that's bigger than basketball. So we don't even. If something happens, something's gonna happen. Like, everybody would know when something happens.
I got 5 kids. You looking good, boss. Good luck, man.
So as you can see there, man, Carmelo wants the Brooklyn Nets as much as the Nets want him, and this is a perfect marriage in my opinion. The Nets need someone to replace Kevin Durant for this year because he is coming off of a ruptured Achilles. Meanwhile, Carmelo has roots in New York. He plays a very similar game to Kevin Durant. The only difference between his game and Kevin Durant's game is, of course, Kevin Durant's game is a little bit more modern. His game, he is a way longer athlete, Kevin Durant is at least, which makes him less of a defensive liability. So I think as a stopgap, in order to give the Brooklyn Nets a little bit more scoring power and in order to take off the load from Kyrie Irving a little bit, I feel like this is just a perfect match. The East isn't that deep anyways. I feel like signing Carmelo Anthony could at least maintain the Brooklyn Nets at least as a top 5 seed at the very worst in the Eastern Conference. Bear in mind that Kenny Atkinson, their head coach, has demonstrated a phenomenal ability to game plan and get the most out of his players. I see a very Brad Stevens-like coaching style, not in terms of scheme, but in the terms of really getting the most out of his players. He was able to turn players like Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie into household names. And although most people really were not 100% paying attention to the Brooklyn Nets, what he did with D'Angelo Russell is nothing short of amazing. So amazing that the Nets were comfortable just claiming old draft busts, or I'm not calling D'Angelo Russell a draft bust, but players like Jahlil Okafor, or hell, even players like Anthony Bennett, in order for Kenny Atkinson to potentially try to tap into those players' potential. So if you ask me, if there's one person that could potentially revive Carmelo Anthony's career, it would be none other than Kenny Atkinson. Now, again, I don't know how much the Nets will need him. If they were, I feel like Carmelo at this point is a very low risk but a very high reward signing. Signing him for the Brooklyn Nets isn't going to take you out of playoff contention. He's not going to come and destroy your locker room chemistry. So at the very worst, that's not going to happen. And at the very best, you could get some good games where he really turns back the clock and you could really lean on him. He did have that 127-point outing when he was with the Houston Rockets back when James Harden got injured. He's shown the ability that he could take over, and I know for a fact, knowing Carmelo Anthony's basketball personality, that he is always itching to try to take over like he once was able to. And he still has that scoring ability once again. It's just the fact of the matter is, his game that type of game isn't really the most efficient brand of basketball for the NBA today. Now, I made a video on the fact that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are already trying to recruit Carmelo Anthony. They are really trying to push the front office to sign Carmelo Anthony, and it appears as if Carmelo Anthony wants to sign with the Brooklyn Nets back. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before this deal actually gets done. So I would really want to get your opinion. Do you think Brooklyn is the best spot for Carmelo Anthony? Do you think he should go to another team? Because I think I saw the OKC Thunder in my previous video. I saw the Minnesota Timberwolves in my previous video as well. And I honestly don't think he would ever go there because the Timberwolves have a much more difficult path to an NBA championship than, say, the Brooklyn Nets do. The Brooklyn Nets are in the East. The East is not nearly as strong as the West, and I don't really see him going back to the OKC Thunder to team up with Chris Paul, although I know for a fact that those two are really good buddies. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think about Carmelo? Do you even think he'll be signed at the end of this offseason? Personally, I do think that the Nets are the most likely team to sign him. I think it's only a matter of time before Carmelo puts a pen to paper and signs with the Brooklyn Nets, even if it's for a year, man, even if it's just while they wait on Kevin Durant to get back into full form. However, if he is not, I do feel like this is his final team. I don't think he's going to join a new team. I feel like mentally he's becoming exhausted from the fact that he is no longer the star that he once was. And I feel like he's just in the ring chasing portion of his career. So, and he understands that most teams don't really want him. He really had to pull out all the stops to even potentially be considered by the Brooklyn Nets. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, guys, be sure to subscribe for more daily NBA news and rumors and drama. Be sure to drop a like to support the content. And also, if you're new to the channel, let me know up in the comment section so I could give you a nice little welcome. Besides that, guys, I'm your boy, Theflightmike, and I'll catch you guys later.